I'm so happy to be joining you today on the 90th episode of How Long Till Bedtime. This podcast is a true labor of love for our little team, and we work hard to put together episodes that you will value each week. I'm so grateful to all the extraordinary guests who have joined me on the podcast so far. Each one of them has educated and entertained us with their unique perspective and valuable expertise. After each interview, I ask the guest some fun, rapid-fire questions, unrelated to the topic we discussed for that episode. Last November, to mark the 1-year anniversary of How Long Till Bedtime, we created a special episode filled with those bonus answers that our guests shared with us after their interviews, and you can find those answers in episode 57 if you missed it. You all really loved that episode, so it may just be a new tradition. Our plan was to do another compilation episode this coming November to mark the 2nd anniversary, but we've been getting such fantastic answers since we continued to ask these questions that we decided to share the answers from the guests that we had during the first half of year 2. Enjoy! Hi, I'm Allison Egidi, a pediatric sleep and wellness coach and a mom of 2. I love to help parents find solutions. This is How Long Till Bedtime. In episode 66, I talked with pediatric physical therapist Dr. Christy Hammerly about the rolling milestone. Dr. Danielle Bailey, a pelvic floor physical therapist, helped us understand pelvic floor dysfunction in episode 70. Clinical psychologist Amanda Sovic Johnston discussed making and keeping adult friends in episode 72. My best friend Laura Flum joined me in episode 73 for a fun conversation about our lifelong friendship. And Michelle Streeter shared tips for taking good care of yourself through infertility and IVF in episode 78. We'll link to those individual episodes in the show notes in case you want to go back and check them out. I'm going to share the rapid fire question I asked, and then we'll include the answers from each of our guests, generally in the order that I just introduced them all to you. And I started by asking each of these guests for the best piece of parenting advice that they ever received, or something they wish someone had told them. All 5 of these women had a thoughtful answer to this question, so you guys, listen up. This is some seriously good advice.
I do not have kids yet, but I work with so many parents and babies and birth workers, and I think the best advice that I've received so far is to prepare support ahead of time and before your baby comes, so maybe find your doulas if you want to use doulas, find your lactation consultant, and make sure you've got a team ready to go.
The best parenting advice that I've received is be present in the moment with your children. Life goes by so fast and your children grow up so fast, and it's so easy to live in the next. This is the next thing I have to do, or we have this event coming up and we got to prepare for this and this. And it's so easy to miss out on just being present with your children. And so I can attest to that myself. I can't believe my oldest is already 8 years old. And I have to say I'm very intentional about being present in the moment with my children, because these are moments that I'll never get back again. And these are priceless moments that I feel are to be embraced and to be cherished, because I'll never get that time back again. So if I can give any advice to any parent, it would definitely be present with your children, because life goes so fast and you don't want to miss out on those beautiful moments with your children.
The best parenting advice I've ever received is that every time we give our kids something, we're also taking something away. Or parents have 2 ears for listening and one mouth, right? 2 ears, one mouth. We should be listening more than we're talking.
The best parenting advice I've ever received is to just let the feelings be what they are. You can sit with a child through their tough feelings and empathize without trying to rush through them or telling them it's okay or stop crying. If we let our little ones work through their feelings, even when they seem like total overreactions to us, we can raise big kids who are able to work through the big problems that we know are coming as they grow up.
It is safe to trust yourself. I actually don't know if anyone told me this or if it's just a thing that I've learned, especially from navigating infertility, is that it is safe to trust yourself. In parenthood, there is so much conflicting advice about what's the quote unquote right way to parent. And at the end of the day, once you've weighed all your options and gotten all the information, read the research, whatever, it really just comes down to trusting what feels best and good for you, and just trusting that that is going to be enough for both you and your family.
I always love to hear what other people are reading or listening to. So we also ask them for a recommendation for either a book or a podcast that they really enjoy or have enjoyed. I took note of several of their suggestions, and I think you're going to want to as well. Let's start with book recommendations from Christy and Danielle.
Right now, I am currently hopping on the Colleen Hoover train and reading all of her books.
One of my favorite books that I've enjoyed reading is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. I love practical books, especially ones that have some really good nuggets that I can just apply to my life, and that book did just that for me. So if you're looking for a practical book, a good read that is inspirational and encouraging, I highly recommend Atomic Habits by James Clear.
And when I asked them for podcast recommendations, Christy, Laura, Amanda, and Michelle had these suggestions for you all.
I love the podcast episodes by Milk Diva with her podcast, Birth, Babies, and Boob Business.
My favorite podcast, well, besides How Long Till Bedtime, I absolutely love the podcast Maintenance Phase, which is about the diet industry and the ways in which we tend to equate weight with health and the myriad scientific reasons why we shouldn't be doing that. It showed me as a thin person that our society treats fat people terribly because we've been taught that they need to be shamed in order to change their appearance. And it has given me so much to think about and changed the way that I talk about body shapes and sizes in a way that will definitely benefit my daughters. And the spoiler is that I don't talk about body shapes and sizes to anyone anymore, ever.
The Daily with Michael Barbaro, I just love that I feel in the know and he's smart and I learn a ton and it grounds me every day.
One of my favorite business podcasts is called Literally by Lacey Seitz. She coaches women for 6 months on it and shares the candid coaching conversations. And I think it's just been so normalizing to have that behind the scenes look at coaching. It's one of the reasons I fell in love with Lacey. I eventually ended up working with her one-on-one. And also I somehow got a heart pull to be a coachee on the podcast. So if you want to hear me get coached, go listen to it. But for non-biz related things, I have really been enjoying The Lazy Genius. It's always just a good grounding reminder to come back to the things that are most important for me. And it's always nice to have something outside of business, right, to focus on.
When I get together with my friends, the topic of what we're watching on TV almost always seems to come up. So I asked my guests to share what shows have them hooked. All 5 ladies had great show recommendations that they wanted to share.
This might be a little random, but I am actually a huge Survivor fan. So season 43 is on right now, and I've seen almost all of them. And I also love Game of Thrones, so I'm currently watching House of the Dragon.
I'm currently watching the show From Scratch on Netflix. I love heartfelt dramas, and even though it's a short series, this one really hits the spot for me.
I'm currently watching Shrinking on Apple TV with Jason Segel. It is about a psychologist, it's funny, and it has a ton of heart.
I don't really watch TV much, but I like to watch professional tennis and baseball, and I really enjoyed Jeopardy! I'm like a little old lady when it comes to TV.
So I don't really watch like Netflix all that much, but we are currently watching The Mandalorian. But what I wish that I was watching was season 3 of Only Murders in the Building. Literally cannot wait for it to come out.
Those of you who follow me on Instagram know my family loves a good meal. I'm always on the lookout for delicious, easy new meals, so I asked my guests to share the details of a family favorite meal from their house. Christy, Danielle, Laura, and Michelle have my mouth watering with these yummy options.
Truth be told, I'm not much of a cook, but my partner is, and he makes his famous sticky Asian wings, which are chicken wings with a sweet, savory, and spicy sauce that I could eat every day of the week.
My favorite meal that I enjoy cooking at home is fried plantain, cucumber salad, white rice, and baked barbecue chicken. This is a staple meal in our home. I enjoy the different flavors and spices. Being that my family's from the Caribbean, we incorporated a lot of different flavors in our meals, and when preparing this meal, I'm able to do that. And so my husband and children really enjoy this food whenever I prepare it, and it is definitely my favorite meal to cook in the home.
I love to cook and experiment in the kitchen. The kitchen is my happy place. My family loves my crispy feta with lemon pepper chicken and rice. I got the recipe from Half Baked Harvest, which is one of my favorite sites for recipe inspiration, and this one's really easy and delicious.
So we don't really do a lot of cooking at home. Honestly, I get most of my meals from Plenty-Sivo, which is like a local delivery company that has like literally saved my life through the early postpartum days, but just like period in general, so that we get some home cooked meals. But if we are gonna make something at home together, I have to say that my favorite thing is making my mom's banana bread recipe. Our 4-year-old especially loves to help, like both make it and eat it, and it's just delicious.
Personal growth is a big priority for me, so I wanted to tap into this topic with my final question. I asked each guest to share a personal, non-business related goal that they are working on or working towards this year. Their answers are truly fascinating and so motivating. This was my favorite question by far. Again, we're sharing all 5 of their answers in the order that I originally introduced them. Be prepared to be inspired.
The non-business related goal I might be working towards this year is trying to look for a house to buy in Austin, Texas, which can be pretty daunting, so wish me luck.
One of the things that I really truly enjoy is singing. It is definitely one of my pastimes. And as a business owner, I think it's truly important to have these creative outlets because it just helps me personally to stay fresh and excited about, the everyday tasks that I do as a business owner. And so one of my goals that I have this year is to audition for a professional basketball game. I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and so I would like to audition to sing the national anthem for a Mavericks game. When I was in college, I had the opportunity to sing on ESPN for different athletic events whenever I had the opportunity to sing the national anthem. And so now, as a business owner and a mom of 3, I said to myself, you know what? I want to be able to do the same thing now. And so that is a goal for me, to continue to express my artistry in different ways. And I'm going to do that through preparing to audition for the national anthem at a professional sporting event.
My current non-business related goal is to try something new every day. So I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. I'm trying to do things differently and learn new things. And so I have to be really proactive about what am I going to do new each day.
My most fun goal this year is to improve at tennis. I want to see how far I can push this 42-year-old body before it breaks.
So I'm not sure that this is a goal per se, but I've been playing around with exploring and understanding my personal style more. And so that's just something like fun that I've been working towards and just like having a lot of fun with. So it's not so much an end goal as a journey to be enjoyed. And it's truly just bringing me a lot of joy right now. And especially the part where I get to share it. I have like a whole Instagram account with it. So that is my personal non-business related goal that I'm playing with.
What great goals, right? And something tells me that they are all going to achieve just what they've set out to do. I really enjoy getting to know my guests a little bit better through their responses to these questions. My hope is that one of these questions inspires you, sparks an idea, or just makes you laugh a little as you go about your day. I'm so grateful that all of these guests were able to join me on the podcast, and I love that they were willing to share this extra goodness with all of you. We've got more incredible guests planned for the next 6 months as well. We'll share those answers in November, so stay tuned for that episode. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you'll come back again next week. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to How Long Till Bedtime. To learn how we can work together to improve your child's sleep, please visit sleepandwellnesscoach.com.